The Secret of Eldridge Hollow. Chapter 1. The Hidden Truth. In the isolated town of Eldridge Hollow, secrets had a way of festering in the dark. Among the haunted whispers of the townsfolk, the name Hargrove was spoken with a mix of fear and curiosity. The Hargrove estate, an imposing mansion at the edge of town, was said to be cursed. Its dark windows seemed to watch the town with malevolent intent, and children dared each other to approach it after dusk. Oliver Hargrove, the youngest scion of this enigmatic family, bore the weight of his family's dark legacy on his small shoulders. He was a quiet boy, often lost in his sketchbook, trying to escape the shadows that loomed large around him. His mother, Elara, was an imposing figure, rarely seen in daylight. When she did venture out, it was under the cover of night, wrapped in a cloak that seemed to swallow the light around her. At school, Oliver felt the sting of isolation. His classmates whispered about him, their laughter echoing in the hallways. "What's wrong with your mom?" they would taunt. The truth was too horrific to share, so he kept his mouth shut, sealing away the dark family secrets. Chapter 2. The Shadows Grow. One day, while Oliver sat on the swings during recess, he overheard two classmates, Lila and Marcus, talking about their families. Their laughter pierced through his heart like a knife. "What's your mom like, Oliver?" Lila asked innocently. His stomach twisted. "She's busy," he replied, avoiding their eyes. "Busy doing what, making potions?" Marcus chimed in, a smirk plastered on his face. "Leave him alone," Lila protested, but Marcus pressed on. "Is she a witch or something?" The laughter echoed, and Oliver felt the heat of shame rise in his cheeks. If they only knew the truth, that his mother was something far worse than a witch. He remained silent, the secret gnawing at him, a poison that threatened to spill. Chapter 3. The Warning. As the days turned into weeks, Oliver noticed strange occurrences around town. Pets vanished without a trace, crops withered overnight, and an unnatural chill settled over Eldridge Hollow. The townsfolk began to murmur about a curse, their fearful glances darting toward the Hargrove mansion. One night, unable to sleep, Oliver crept through the dimly lit halls of the mansion. He found his mother in the library, speaking to a shadowy figure. "They're beginning to suspect," she said, her voice smooth as silk. "If they learn the truth, it will be chaos." Oliver's heart raced. He knew he had to uncover the truth. He slipped into the library and discovered an ancient book on the table, its pages filled with dark rituals and incantations. As he read, horror washed over him. His mother was involved in something sinister, something that could destroy the town. Chapter 4. The Breaking Point. The next day at school, Oliver felt the weight of his secret pressing down on him. During lunch, he confronted Lila and Marcus, desperation clawing at his throat. "You have to believe me. My mother is dangerous." "Come on, Oliver. You're just trying to scare us." Marcus laughed, but Lila's eyes widened in concern. "No, I'm serious. She's not just a mom. She's something evil," Oliver pleaded. The bell rang, but Oliver's heart raced. Had he just made things worse? He could see doubt creeping into Lila's eyes, but he didn't know if it was enough to save them. Chapter 5. The Night of Reckoning. That night, Oliver lay in his bed, the shadows creeping closer as he replayed the day's events in his mind. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the stillness. Heart pounding, he crept down the hallway. In the kitchen, he found his mother standing by the shattered window, her back turned to him. "What happened?" he dared to ask. "They know," she replied, her voice cold. They're getting too close. Who? Oliver pressed, fear tightening his chest. The townsfolk, she hissed, turning to face him. Her eyes glowed with a malevolent light. They need to be reminded of their place. Please don't hurt them, Oliver begged, backing away. They're ignorant, she spat, and ignorance must be punished. Chapter 6. The Unraveling. The next day, a thick tension hung over Eldridge Hollow. Oliver felt it in the air as he walked into school. Whispers followed him, eyes darting away whenever he approached. The rumors had spread, and now he was the object of fear and curiosity. At lunch, Lila and Marcus sat with a group of students, their voices hushed. "What's going on with your mom?" Lila asked, concern etched on her face. Oliver took a deep breath, his heart racing. "You have to help me. She's planning something terrible. If we don't stop her, she'll destroy everything." "What can we do?" Lila asked, urgency in her voice. "Help me gather everyone. We need to perform a counter-ritual." Chapter 7. The Gathering Storm. As night fell, Oliver felt a mix of dread and determination. He led Lila, Marcus, and a small group of classmates to the mansion. The air was thick with tension as they approached the darkened estate. "Are you sure about this?" Marcus whispered, fear flickering in his eyes. "We have to try," Oliver replied, steeling himself. They entered the mansion, the shadows seeming to stretch and twist around them. In the main room, they formed a circle, holding hands as Oliver recited the incantation from the book. The atmosphere crackled with energy, and the air grew colder. "Elara!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the halls. "You need to stop this." Chapter 8. The Final Confrontation. Elara appeared, her figure cloaked in darkness, a sinister smile curling her lips. "You think you can defy me?" she hissed, the shadows swirling around her. "I'm not afraid of you," Oliver shouted back, his heart pounding. "You're the one who should be afraid." As he continued the incantation, the energy in the room surged. The townsfolk joined in, their voices rising in a powerful crescendo. The walls trembled, and the shadows recoiled as if in pain. "You cannot escape your destiny, Oliver," Elara screamed, fury and desperation mingling in her voice, but the power of the townsfolk's unity pushed back against her dark influence. Chapter 9. The Breaking of the Night. With a blinding flash, the darkness exploded outward. Oliver found himself on the ground, gasping for breath. The air was still, and as he looked around, he saw the townsfolk slowly rising to their feet, confusion etched on their faces. "Is it over?" Lila asked, her voice trembling. "I think so," Oliver replied, glancing toward where his mother had stood. But the darkness had vanished, leaving only silence in its wake. The townsfolk gathered around him, relief washing over them. They had united against the darkness and emerged victorious, but Oliver could still feel a lingering sense of unease. Chapter 10. The Aftermath. In the weeks that followed, Eldridge Hollow began to heal. The townsfolk worked together to clean up the remnants of the darkness, and Oliver found solace in their support. He slowly began to open up about his experiences, sharing his story. But deep down, he knew that the darkness was not truly gone. It had merely retreated, holding its breath, waiting for the right moment to rise again. Epilogue. The Lingering Shadows. As Oliver lay in bed each night, he heard the whispers in the shadows, a chilling reminder that some secrets are never fully buried. The legacy of the Hargrove family lingered like a stain on the town of Eldridge Hollow, a dark mark that would forever haunt them. And somewhere, deep within the recesses of the mansion, the darkness watched, waiting for the moment to reclaim its hold.